What's up guys, it's the Hunter Project here. Welcome to my channel where you'll find Monster Hunter news, builds, playthroughs and everything in between. As you can see in the background, we are going to be revisiting a past Monster Hunter title today, and it isn't just any title. It is the very first G expansion that was made for the original game. If you're not familiar with the G editions of the Monster Hunter titles, they are what we call in the US the Ultimate expansions, which is the equivalent to Iceborne for any world-only players. The G name is exclusive to Japanese versions, so I did have to install an English patch for this specific version of the game. But anyways, today I'm going to be talking about my first time experience with Monster Hunter G. If you do enjoy, be sure to smash the like button and subscribe for a lot more Monster Hunter content. And comment down below if you want to see me make more Monster Hunter G videos, or even any other Monster Hunter titles from the earlier entries in the series. And also let me know down below when you guys started your Monster Hunter journey. I look forward to reading all of your comments. And without wasting any more time, let's get right into the video. So the reason I played this game was to see for myself how far Monster Hunter has come over its historic lifespan. And one thing that was instantly completely unusual to me was the combat system. So all combat in the first game, and of course the G expansion, is done via the second analog stick, which of course was changed in the following game, as well as the first portable title, which was Monster Hunter Freedom, and I think arguably this is the best change that they made from the first game and its mechanics. It was really weird having to flick the analog repeatedly to chain combos, and makes you kind of question who originally decided that to make that like a design choice. Of course you can definitely get used to it, but the controls just aren't exactly the most intuitive, and of course this area of the industry caught on extremely quickly and it was changed. I know there are quite a few other games that also have similar controls, but I feel like Monster Hunter just doesn't fit this style, especially with when you're fighting the stronger monsters at G rank and you want a button input rather than a flick of a stick to use your combos. Of course someone may disagree, but for me personally it's just definitely not what you'd be wanting to use. I could of course have changed it with the emulator, as you have controls, like you could change all the inputs. I could put the right trigger to be the left analog click, but I did want to try get the experience as it would have been like on the original PS2, so I left the controls just as they were. And of course the lucky residents of Japan did actually get a Wii port of Monster Hunter G when they released the Monster Hunter Tri demo, and this did have updated controls to remedy this situation. But to be fair, like I did mention before, in the West we did get the Freedom version of the game, which all the Freedom games, they are so damn good, and considering they ran on the PSP, just made it that much better. Monster Hunter G was actually quite the addition to the original though, don't get me wrong. They made many improvements from the original game, such as the introduction of G rank for the very first time, the training school, higher levels of sharpness, a new skill system that was operated by numbers rather than armor, and of course this was later done again, where we got the world system, which you just get the armor skills, and each time you get the same armor skill it will buff the level and how much effect it has on your armor. Whereas in this game, and a lot of the prior entries in the series, like I think Generations and all the way back, excluding World, they all had a system where if you get to 10 points or 15 points, that's when the skill would register, and it would still be it would also be the same if you went negative, and you would get those skills taken away, or you would get a bad skill. For example, if you got the bad luck skill, I forgot what the name is. If you do remember what the name is, drop it down in the comment section. But I remember there was a skill, the opposite of the good luck skill, which I think you get off the Kirin armor. There was the opposite, I think, on the Fatalis armor, Fatalis set, but I'm not 100% sure on that one, so don't quote me on that. But another thing that they did introduce was the monster subspecies and size variation, which of course went a long way. One of the things that was quite apparent as soon as I started was the lack of tutorials and indicators as to what you should be doing. But I knew this was a thing for many of the earlier games, as obviously I did start on Unite and it wasn't too clear as well. See, even with 3 Ultimate, I remember I had a lot of friends who weren't sure what they should be doing in the game, and I did know, so I had to guide them, and there wasn't a tutorial in the game that was clear enough for them to just get guided by themselves. But either way, I did forget how ambiguous it is considering how well the newer games have done guiding starting players. But regardless, they fixed it up now, so at least that's good to know. The monster list of the game is actually quite solid for the first generation. Lots of the series staples are here, like Rathalos, Radiant, Fatalis, Kirin, and many more. And the G expansion specifically brought in many more of the franchise favourites, like both of the Rathalos and Radiant subspecies, of course that being Azure, Silver, Pink, and Gold. Have I already said Gold? Silver? Well, you know what I'm talking about if you're a Monster Hunter fan. And yeah, and also Yangaruga as well, which I know is a big fan favourite. And I didn't get to Rathalos in my playthrough, as it was quite tedious getting through the beginner quests, as I couldn't even search up what the key quests were, and it was quite long. Like one of the most tedious things was climbing up vines. You can't jump up them, and coming from World and Rise, where you have such nice traversal going up, it was so tedious trying to get up to like certain ledges, or even just climbing up vines. That was extremely, it was like a massive chore. But guys, let me know down below if you do want me to possibly stream me playing through Monster Hunter G, as I would definitely be willing to play if there's enough of you guys willing to watch, then at some point I definitely will do so. Overall, I think that Monster Hunter G served as a great expansion to the original game, and the general intentions of the first game and its G expansion I think were done really well. Many of the series' staple features are present here, such as the field item consumables, such as the rations and first aid meds, as well as sharpening your weapon. All of these basic mechanics that are now always in every single Monster Hunter title, at least in the mainline games, all stemmed from this original game, and it had all the foundations of this fantastic series, which was pretty awesome to see. They didn't have to change too much. Of course, they expanded on things as they went across the series, but the core mechanics were always present, which is awesome to see. We later got this in the West as well, which was nice for, of course, as Western fans. Monster Hunter G did become Monster Hunter Freedom pretty much only a few months later, I think. I think it was like maybe half a year later we got it in the West as Monster Hunter Freedom on the PSP, which was fantastic, as I said before. Don't get me wrong, the game is definitely outdated. Like, it is quite a chore to play now that we've had all the innovations of the more recent titles, but it still was an amazing title for its time and the console it was on. Like the Freedom games specifically, I know I've mentioned this already, but before I close out the video, the Freedom games especially blew me away, considering they were on the PSP, and of course that was a portable console so far in the past, where you would expect that type of game to be on a PS2, something that's plugged into the wall, but they were able to get Monster Hunter running on the PSP, which obviously had an external battery, had all the components squashed into one smaller device, and it definitely made the PSP so much better. At least for me personally, the Monster Hunter games were 100%, around 90% on my playtime on my PSP, and that's thousands of hours I'm talking about. But this does bring us to the end of the video, guys. I did ramble off at the end there, talking about the PSP version, as this video was supposed to be on the GS specifically, but technically Monster Hunter Freedom is Monster Hunter G, but I did want to look at the PS2 version, as that's where Monster Hunter debuted. If you did enjoy, be sure to smash the like, subscribe buttons. It is extremely appreciated as we make our way to 400 subscribers. Don't forget to join on my Discord, link is at the top of the description. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.